If we can call this meeting to order, it is 6 p.m. on May 24th, 2022. And in attendance, we have Joel and Courtney present.
Gary Hudson's president.
Sorry, I'm typing and thinking. Kim Quirk, present in person. Charlie, you want to announce your presence? Or you're
Yeah.
you're just a member now. You're just a visiting.
Yeah,
Right.
they're just a town member.
Okay, let me put you not in the member group. Yes.
Retired member.
Emeritus. I like that.
Okay, emeritus. Okay, that sounds better. Sounds expensive.
Okay, so the, I believe the note taking will be by.
Got
Ms. Ford. So the approval of April minutes. I hope you've had a chance to glance them over. Seems like a long time ago, didn't what's in it. Are there any comments? Changes?
I move that we approve the minute as written.
I'll second.
And since no one's making any comments or objecting, then can we just say that it's unanimous?
Yes.
Okay.
Or would anybody object to?
Right, would anybody object to having this presented as a unanimous vote? It's later in the agenda, but I feel as though it's important to just mention now. I did attend an all-day training for local. I don't recall how it was presented, but it was through the Municipal Association of New Hampshire, and it was an all-day thing from 9 to 4. And there were some very important things that came up, and so one of them is that I've been, Kim, you've been very good about indicating who makes the motion and who seconds it, and I haven't been very consistent in that. So that is something that needs to happen. And theoretically would have to do a roll call on each vote. However, if there are only a few of us, and we can ask if after the motion has been made and second, if we can, if anyone would object to be having it be unanimous. So we don't have to go through the roll call.
Yay.
Couple of other things about it was that when I, for instance, when I sent out the draft minutes, everybody's been good about not responding back, which is appropriate. When we send something, it would not be appropriate to send back corrections. Because what we send out, any emails are a government record. They're an official record, so we need to make sure that when we send out things, for instance, if I sent out something that I was going to present to maybe the select board or something, and I was looking for some nuances or ideas, what I could do is send it out to everybody with a BCC, so it's a blind carbon copy, and then any of those responses would only come back to the sender rather than to all of them. Because otherwise it becomes an open discussion, which is subject to an open meeting thing, and we are legally responsible for having an open meeting. I think that's anything comments on any of it?
I didn't get it all in terms of exactly what we have to do. Okay.
I mean, it's things that we've done in many other, forums, like the select board and whatever, and I think most of us are fairly familiar with that. Yeah, it says avoid electronic communication. And we've been good about it. And that's why when there was something that was being sent out and asking for input, I kind of squished it.
Okay.
And it has to be open to the public, which it is, and it's posted on the website, and it's posted in the town office. So we don't have to worry about that. Okay, all right, thank you. Updates. Town meeting.
Yay!
Yeah, we did it.
Town meeting, all right?
Yeah, that's part of why it seemed like it was a long time ago.
Yes.
because Our last meeting was just a few days before town meeting.
Okay, so this is our Enfield Community Power Plan. Passed at town meeting. That's the update.
Okay.
Okay.
It was interesting to me that the Valley News had a headline above the fold on Enfield, and they never mentioned community power at all.
No, it was not controversial.
And
That's fine.
I know, that's part of why it was a little amusing to
Yeah.
me. So we passed it, and there were a few people who said no. And
I heard two voices. Anybody else? I think there were more than that. Approximately two voices, since it was a voice call. Fine.
So good for us.
Yay.
There are a couple of things. We'll get to, I guess, community power in a minute, but the municipal test, I mean, both of those issues, the warrant articles passed.
Yeah, by one vote. It's stinging like that.
Well, one of them passed by quite a bit more than that.
Yes,
The Whitney Hall passed by quite a bit
Yes.
more than that.
Yes,
And the safety building passed barely,
by one.
barely.
Well,
Mine.
It wasn't mine, I'm afraid. So embarrassing. Well, I'm not saying
I'm not saying,
that.
but actually, I thought it was just the exact number. I didn't think it was by one.
Well, that's what I mean.
If we didn't have the exact
If we
number.
didn't
by
have my
one.
vote, it wouldn't have gone.
Got it.
Your vote, okay.
Okay.
Thank you for voting for it, Gary.
Yeah. I'm still trying to pull this out.
He thinks he did the wrong thing, but I think we'll be okay.
No, it's.
Okay, so, I understand that, I appreciate that. So, Kim, that means, we do have representation on that committee?
Yes, well, I am on the MF, probably DAC. Which
DAC
stands for something like municipal
facility.
facilities, good, design advisory committee,
Okay,
as opposed to just the advisory committee. Now we're into the next area of this design, so.
so who else is on it?
We have,
Tracy.
yep, Tracy, no, only from the previous one, only two people, Tracy Young and Cheryl Green. And the new people, none of whom were on the meeting before, were Travis Boucher.
Oh, Travis, who was,
Who was on the energy committee for a little bit, so
Perfect,
maybe we'll
okay,
get him
he's a
back in
good-
here
yeah, but he's a
later.
good.
Reed Birdwell, and I'm pointing to where the people were sitting, this meeting just happened. Tate Picard
Yeah, he's the one that took the videos, right?
and myself, yeah, I think so,
Oh, tape the card.
Tate Picard, I don't know if he took the videos.
No, he didn't. It was up on
Jones,
Jonesdale.
yep.
Yeah.
And Ed Rose.
Who was ranked?
Tate Picard,
Picard.
Picard, Picard, Take.
Right, but you said bright something?
Oh, Reed Bergwell. REED.
I worked with Tate at, Career Innovations. No, Creonics. Decades. ago.
Good experience in, three of them have good experience in construction and building big buildings, including Reed, who just built the, he was in charge of this project management for the Dartmouth building. Oh, somebody can't get on. Anyway, good, there was a good group of people. I think it'll be great. Yeah, we're in the meeting. No, you have to go to Enfield. So you're on the website. And on the left, there's a calendar of events on the main page of Enfield, New Hampshire. Yeah, do you see the calendar events? And does it say Energy Committee today? You click on that, and then in the middle section, it'll say join the team meeting.
It doesn't say two, it just says join.
Continue with the web, continue with something. Don't join anything. There's
Oh,
two
wait,
teams.
Charlie says it doesn't say don't join
It's
something. It
the
says
one that's in the middle.
it's in the middle section.
Continue with whatever.
He says it says something like continue with.
Yeah, it's the one in the middle. There's a join team, top and bottom. You don't want to be part of any team.
I thought it was join teams. That's what I did. No?
I
Well,
don't
it's-
think
It's
either.
it's the one in the middle. I forget what it was.
There's a middle. So what are you reading? Read it to us. Me. Are you there? Okay. Read the center section where it talks about the meeting. Main page. Yeah, go to the main page. No, so the main page, if you do the upper left, Town of Enfield main page, right, and you see the big Mascoma River, scroll down and you see upcoming meeting. We're really in the middle of the meeting. It feels kind of inappropriate. Okay, so the main Town of Enfield website, front page, scroll down to Energy Committee meeting in underneath the calendar. You see a calendar, but this is upcoming meetings, Energy Committee meeting. You click on that. It does say click here to join the meeting. I think that's what you should do.
It does, but that's when you join and go to the next
Okay,
page.
Bye, thanks. Okay, sorry.
Okay. All right, so how frequently is the municipal buildings,
Meeting. Okay, we're meeting every other week. Today was the first meeting. And today we really just did introductions of the team members and where we are financing, you know, the fact that we had Bread and Loaf do these designs. They are completely finished with the project that they were paid to do.
Right.
So the next step is to create RFPs so that we can actually get numbers for this. So we have a budget, and there's actually a really good chance that they're going to use or make a deal for the land in front of the Shaker Hill Granite, Rob Maltz's land,
If the road goes
as a
that way,
location. Yeah, yeah,
it's all backfill. So
yes, they think that's a wonderful thing. Yes, they've looked at that, they've talked all about it and how that makes it very easy to do what we want to do.
Yeah, because it looks in the backfill.
Yeah, I don't know.
I-
So that, but the next steps are to create the RFP. And it's really concerning. I think everybody in the room is concerned that we have this budget number and it's going to be super hard to build with prices going up as fast as they are. to meet the expectations. So
So-
that's a little bit
Are
discouraging.
are they intending to build the layout as designed by?
No. No, absolutely not. That's the good news. I mean, there's a lot of it that was well thought out, and they
And
got
there's a lot-
input
There's
from
there's a lot.
police.
that's-
Well, they got input from all all the major people who are going to be using this building.
Right,
So that input needs to be, retained and used, but in terms of, we didn't talk anything about what the building's gonna look like or energy efficiency. We did have a chance to say what our focuses were, each person, and so, I did say that my focus is on the operating costs and the energy costs and making sure that this building is supposed to be really good in 50 years, not 5 years like the police building or 10. So that's all we really did.
I'll tell you, the Dartmouth building, they just put up this,
That's the indoor play, the indoor practice rink, that one? Practice.
no,
Oh, okay. Which building?
No.
Oh, the Irving Institute or the class of
the
82
Irving
building.
Institute
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
and the computer science building,
Yeah.
they just completed.
Yep, I've been in them. Yep, I
And,
know.
oh my God. Today, they're taking out the loading dock that we use, that our machine shop
Yeah.
uses. So if we have a piece of equipment that goes down
Are you working there?
and the loading dock is now in the parking garage,
Ah,
and now the janitors have to take all the trash from like Irving Institute all the way down to the new building. It's 1 hour round trip. Because they have to take it upstairs, over, downstairs. It's just. You wonder what they were thinking when they did some of this stuff.
that's all I have. so far.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. for
And
being
thank you,
part of it.
Gary. He sent me a nice.
And if I get overbearing on that, Kevin, please.
You can send me as much stuff as you want. I read the whole list. Lots of really good information, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
Good, great. Okay, so on to community power. Again, our plan was approved by, town meeting. I think that there are a couple of next steps that we need to do. One would be clean up one section, I think it's, section appendix J. But also, there's been a change or an addition, an amendment to the joint powers agreement, which will require going to the select board for their approval. And I think that we may need to educate the new select board member, Eric Russell, and also, our new,
Ed.
right, Ed. So I'm wondering how you think would be the best way to do that. When I had a conversation with Ed at, I think it was the municipal building when they were doing the public hearings on that, I approached him about, coming to a meeting, but I also, mentioned about community power, and he seemed to be fairly familiar with it. And said that, in Claremont, they were considering waiting for the second wave.
Good.
But I think both he and our new select board member need to understand where we are. It's one thing to understand the concept, but it's another to understand where we are in this process. And then we'll have to go to the select board also for, approval of the amendment and any changes that we've made to the.
Do we know how soon that information will get to us? Like, I think it's CPCNH is supposed to provide us with, or the PUC has to do something first and then.
Right. We had a meeting, with Community Power, board last Thursday, and the week before, we were given information about, a suggested timeline, or timeframe for key milestones. And initially, they were saying June and July, rather through June or July, to have the update, for the amendment for the joint powers agreement. But then I believe at the end of the meeting, there was, the chair suggested that we wait a little longer. And I,
So maybe we should be targeting our next meeting with the select board for more like September. Like, I mean, if anybody wants to know, we can offer, maybe that's what we should do. Offer to the select board to bring them up to date. But knowing that we're gonna have to go to them for an actual action item, then, it sounds like that's gonna be much later, like more like August, September than June, July.
Yeah.
I think that's realistic, and there won't be a contract to consider, for, probably, you know, it wouldn't be starting until maybe April, May of next year, so we probably have time to get it.
well, the suggested timeline for, the cost sharing agreement would be October, November.
Okay. Then maybe we have to do,
December.
okay, we'll look to you to provide those dates as to when we should go to the select board and what we're asking for.
So that's a question. Do you think we need a separate, session with Eric and, our town manager?
I think that's fair, a question for them. So maybe you want to send them an email and say, do you want us to give you an update and or answer any questions? If so.
And because we will be coming to you
Yeah, the more, yeah, sure.
with an update on, you know, something you've already signed. Okay, I'll do that. It's just, because I have no idea what, select board, what Eric was on.
Yeah, it probably doesn't hurt, you know, if they want to give us 10 minutes in some upcoming meeting. Actually, if we can be first. Okay,
Yeah,
over it. That's probably rare, but if we plan it far enough ahead, maybe we could.
Do we have a charter from the select board as to what we do?
Well, our, not exactly a charter, rather, excuse me, there's a, an objective, and
Okay.
it's like to, it was in the town annual report,
Okay,
because I rewrote it, and it was like just to save the town money. Community member Charlie Clark, would
Yes.
you happen to have the, annual report
Yep.
for,
Hold on 1 minute. I'll get it for you.
thank you. Because it has, right. Good question.
So bad that when I couldn't get one. It was-
the last Microsoft Teams, like, it must have been for one of the other meetings that I had to join Microsoft Group.
Yeah, oh, you mean with some other things too. Yeah,
You have to load
load
Microsoft
it,
Teams,
yeah.
and then
Maybe you hadn't
for
done
the
that.
next month, it tried to take over my computer.
Oh,
That's
maybe
fine.
that's.
Okay, wait,
You want me to read the mission statement?
Yes,
Okay, to identify energy savings opportunities for the town and residents of Enfield.
thank you.
Thank you, Charlie.
You're welcome.
Right. So that's something. Okay, so,
about the cleaning up, you mentioned clean up Appendix J in the plan. What does that involve? Is that something we should discuss, or you can look at it and then make suggestions, or what do you want to speak of?
well, I was looking over the plan. One, in there, it says that we will establish a website.
You do have a part of a website.
Okay, And that's what we will.
Yeah.
Direct, fine, I just wanted to be clear on that.
But we should look at it and see what updates we want to do.
Okay. The other is, that in appendix J, correcting like the dates. I will get back to you with the specifics.
Okay. Then we won't write them up.
Which raises the question, if you and I are, and Martha, I'm not sure if you're in a subcommittee. If you and I could just have conversations, if that would be legit. Because we're a subcommittee.
That you know better than anybody else in this room. Because you went to the all-day meeting that told you whether you could do that or not. They probably gave you a contact you could ask.
Yeah.
Like if you have any questions.
Yeah.
I know there's some level of one-on-one discussions that the chair can have with anyone or something like that, but I don't know the rules. I let Cliff tell me all the rules.
Well, he's the real good role model, and so it was interesting to be at that meeting on the training and then be at this other meeting where he really follows.
He runs a
It was
meeting.
like, okay, I have a real life example. My point is, if I need to have conversation with you, is it gonna be legitimate?
Or do we have to post it and make it public? And yeah, I think you have to ask.
Okay, fine. All right,
It is a subcommittee, that might help.
right, I'm hoping that that's a little different. All right, but we're excited. So we've got a timetable. We're gonna be moving on community power. And the coalition itself is moving. I've joined the membership committee and did a presentation at Vital Communities on community power. And I was hoping that might elicit a little interest. And Kim has also taken on a leadership role with Community Power Coalition of New Hampshire as treasurer.
Yes, it's a scary, scary thought.
And I think,
So far, so good.
yeah, I think part of that is that the treasurer is kind of asked and expected to be at all these other meetings, like risk management. And then the better meeting, so it's a big commitment, so thank you for that. Okay. Anything else on community power?
Can we go back to the town meeting just for a minute?
Yes.
Did we get any feedback whatsoever from the select board?
Any feedback about what?
Statement about future buildings in the town of Enfield being net zero?
Did we get any?
Did we get any feedback whatsoever from
No.
the select board?
I didn't,
select
no.
people?
I didn't hear anything. Charlie, do you hear anything? No.
But they're looking for people to join the new construction committee. Did you see
Well,
that?
they closed that already. I'm on that new construction committee, and they are gonna have, all the meetings are public. Again, you can come. They just want to limit the, the concept from coming up every single time and everybody disputing every single item.
Yep.
But anyway, but they will be posted I think they're gonna be Tuesdays at 4 PM. And maybe in the community building, but anyway, they'll be posted on the calendar. So if you want to come, you may.
Is Gary going to attend that? Because he's pushing the zero energy.
That's
So,
what we were just talking about.
yeah, anyone can come, but in terms of like an energy committee person, they asked me to join the committee. So I'm on it.
Okay,
So I will be going to those meetings.
all right.
And I'm happy to take, as Gary has done, he provided a nice sheet of
Yep.
lots of good thoughts and ideas that should go into any new building. And happy to represent those. And, again, there'll be times for other input. So come whenever you want.
Okay, so new business. We need to have election of officers.
We do.
Yes,
I thought.
well, I
yeah,
got an email about it.
okay.
So are there any, is there any interest in being chair?
I'd like to nominate Joe Ellen as chair of the Energy Committee.
I'll second it.
Gary seconds.
I accept it.
Okay, good. Phew, that was gonna be the hard one.
Okay, so,
Did you have a campaign speech?
no, thank you.
Do we,
Make Ed feel
Need-
great again.
do we need any other official members?
Vice and, vice chair, that is, not vice, and secretary.
Oh, we do need, well, I'll be secretary since I'm typing. Is that good with everyone?
Okay, self-nominated.
Okay, seconded.
Thank you, Kim. So, Gary, would you like to be vice chair?
Yes, we've run out of people, Gary. Who else is-
Do we have to?
Yeah.
Only because
I don't,
I'm like up in the air.
Oh, about
Okay.
being on the
Okay.
committee.
all right,
I'll talk to you after the meeting.
I hear you, rather fun. The next point is, membership in general. We need people.
There we go.
Well, now that we have two officers, I wanted to move on to the next.
Oh,
We
should
need
you see
people.
if there's unanimous agreement on the slate of officers? Is that a good
Okay,
idea?
yes, thank you. So that's the question. Is there, unanimous agreement on the slate of officers as presented? One, Joelle and Courtney as chair and Kim Quirk as secretary. Any objections to a unanimous consent?
Not here. No.
Great,
Okay, passed.
okay,
Okay,
now I'm moving on.
did you get Mr. Hutchins?
Is that?
Mr. Hutchins, yes?
Oh, good. Totally agree. Let's do it. No
Okay,
objection.
Oh,
No
you're doing
objection.
a roll
No,
call?
but-
Oh,
no.
sorry.
So that's been approved. Congratulations, Kim.
Oh, yeah, you too, Joanne.
Thank you. So, membership. We need members.
Okay, lead members.
Gary?
I was urged to consider volunteering my time to another committee.
You mean
So what does
instead
that
of,
mean?
or,
What's that?
you mean instead of the energy committee?
I just got a letter that said I would urge you to consider volunteering your time to serve on another town board or committee in need of members.
Mhm.
The Energy Committee was one of them.
Yeah, and nobody held up their hand. I'm not sure any committees are getting people by that, but it was a good idea. It's probably a good idea to post it monthly in the newsletter that, you know, these committees are all looking for members.
Yeah.
I know. I'm glad that Travis is on the
Building
committee.
Yeah.
Because he was with the Energy Committee for,
And I think he, you know, it might be one that after this, you know, or sometime he might be willing to come back. I know he has, one of the problems is he can't do evening meetings. So daytime meetings, and I don't know if the energy committee can do daytime meetings. Not my first choice, but
Would he accept that with our handling his limitations? Like, could he be listed in two committees?
yeah, certainly, I mean, he could if he felt like he had the time. And so maybe it'll be worth asking him and first finding out if he has, time problems, you know, before we make any assumptions about whether that's why he wouldn't be on the energy committee or would.
I had spoken to Marta about possibility of inviting him back, and she said that now has two small children.
Yeah, he does,
So-
but he's, yeah.
So
true.
I don't know.
We don't want to push anybody.
Still-
We're all
still,
pushed.
Let's ask him though.
Yeah,
I'll-
yeah.
I'll get involved if you want.
Well, who else? You had somebody else, I think you were talking to that you thought about asking.
Well, Travis, number one, though, I think it's very important, even if he more or less puts his name in our record book or as what do we call ourselves, myself, what am I?
Alternate, as an alternate.
When you take an alternate, it somehow implies less reliability.
Yeah,
like-
yeah.
like
Yeah.
me.
Well, that's not a bad idea.
And,
Although we need real members, but as an alternate, maybe you kind of
Sure.
ease into being a real member.
We do
I
need,
guess,
we
I
do need,
wondered, whether Phil. What's
Oh,
his name?
Phil Vermeer, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say, I'd like to talk to him about other things. You want me to?
Yeah, yeah, anyone that you're talking to that's from Enfield who, you think might be interested, certainly, it'd be great to mention it. It'd be good to get new people too, to see what.
And I guess I reported earlier that I've gotten to know, Ray and, your customers that used to live there, and they're not interested anymore, so I will not talk to them anymore.
Okay, yeah, they're retired, they like the idea of retiring, some people like that, others don't. But some
Yeah, well,
people do.
they're very active over here at Woodlands.
Well, they're also, I don't think they own anything in Enfield anymore, so they're not likely to be part of an Enfield committee.
Yeah, so I'm just reporting. the
Oh,
same
okay.
thing. And anyone else that I have thought about, I will research mine, but I will specifically talk to Phil,
Okay,
want me to Travis, but, I will look further.
great.
so anyone else have any suggestions? Or,
Capping. Well, we do have, not that I would use business, this is what you don't want to do is, I know everybody in Enfield who has a solar array. Just
Yeah.
about.
I think we should ask any of your customers.
Well, how about Reed? Or maybe I will ask, I don't know how many committees he wants to be on, but Reed Bergwall is a good, person who would probably be very interesting, so I might ask him. He wants a solar array, but they don't allow them in the Shake the Lower Solar groups.
well,
So, we might be interested in trying
Yeah.
to help change that.
maybe, it would be a good, what do you think of the idea of writing something for the town newsletter that's more specific rather than just, these are the committees that.
Yeah, no, something specific that's in the energy committee section or something like
Right.
that. Yeah, no, that'd be
We
great.
could do,
That'd be good
Yeah.
this month, maybe, as opposed to
right.
lots of other stuff we can trade off, and this month we can ask for
So we
people.
can invite, and say, these are the things that we know are going on.
Yeah.
One would be, community power.
Community power plan, we'd like to get more solar in Enfield or, energy efficiency programs.
Nancy Smith,
Yeah,
got quite a system there.
yeah, she does.
Doesn't happen to be yours, but that's
Well,
okay.
why isn't Maynard on this? He's never been on the, energy committee.
No, he would be a good,
I just talked to him today. He came to my office and we talked about all kinds of things, but I did not ask him to be on the energy committee. So it's time to ask him. All right, I'll do that.
okay, good, thank you. And I will, write something up for the June newsletter.
Great.
That's soon.
Yeah,
In a
this
couple of days.
is the 24th.
yeah,
We've got a week,
Well,
a couple days.
I mean, Monday's a holiday.
Yeah,
it's the
that's right.
31st.
This week, you got this week.
Right, so I will, write something up. Okay.
Kim, did I understand you're picking up on Nancy Smith as a name?
I'm not. I'm gonna go for Maynard and,
Oh, okay.
I think there's somebody else I was thinking of who I work with because they have solar arrays or whatever. No, if you want to talk to Nancy, go right ahead.
I will,
Okay. Thanks.
really odd.
Okay, great. So if we have any other ideas, I mean, we can just approach people.
So under communications,
Yes,
should we get a subscription to Green Energy Times and have it delivered to the town offices, town garage? and any other
That's an
offices.
interesting idea. I know somebody who distributes them. I can,
I finally gave up and got mine by mail, because it's like I used to get it at King Pizza, and they don't. do it
Yeah, they
anymore.
don't come up this way anymore. When Energy Emporium was a good, sponsor, advertiser,
Yeah.
they did bring them right to the door.
Yeah,
But they don't if somebody's not paying money.
so, yeah, I mean, it doesn't cost that much.
No, I mean, I don't know that we have to buy a subscription. If you know somebody who distributes them, just ask them to drop some off at the town
Exactly.
hall. Yeah,
So they should get it to town garage.
well, we can distribute from that. So if we get somebody to leave 10, or something, then
You know,
we
maybe the
could,
police department, fire
Yeah.
department, and,
yeah, well, they're all different buildings.
right.
Someday they'll be all one building.
It's a great idea. There's so much in that newsletter.
It's a,
it is
Green
great.
Energy Times has a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, it really is. Great idea. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's why you're here. Okay,
Sometimes.
all right. So community solar, I'm gonna skip over meetings for a moment. And I don't know the history on this, but that is something that I would really like to see what the obstacles are and how we can approach removing some of the obstacles for having a community solar.
Maybe it should be tied in the public safety building.
Yeah, those are real, and not in that place, but
They
let's,
can have it over every vehicle in that yard. Right.
That's a big open space.
I think the super important aspect of this is any new construction can make it less expensive to put solar in, whether it's on the ground, on a carport, on a roof, than it is if you wait and do it later, or do it as a separate project.
They can put 50 kilowatts just on the front facade of that building, if they build it there.
Yeah, that's, you mean like as walls?
No, tilting panel. I mean,
You
that's almost perfect southern exposure right there on that
can
lot.
get 50 kW as a tilted.
What's
As
that?
an awning, a tilted awning, you can't get 50 kW, you can get 6 kW maybe.
One.
Well, anyway, we don't have to worry about that
No.
now. Let's think about it. Let's think about how to get the most that we can out of the space that we, wherever we're gonna put a new building. I think that's a great idea.
So how can I find out what the legal obstacles are?
Oh. Are there any?
And that's a question.
Okay.
I mean, it was my understanding that when Bill,
Mm,
the mayor, wanted to put
a large solar.
a large solar array, it was kiboshed, but I don't know if it was that particular thing or if it was a broad.
No, it was kiboshed on residential piece of land to be a solar array that big, which the town of Enfield deemed commercial size. So yes, there is sort of a commercial size residential, a commercial size, ground array that's not allowed in residential. I don't think that's really the problem.
Okay.
Because, we got a 60 kW array on the DPW salt shed. So if we identify a location and we identify the finances to make that work, because that's really what it took, if the problem with municipalities is they can't get a tax credit. There's no
Right.
taxes paid. So there has to be like a combination of of a grant or something to make it work for the town. Otherwise, we're asking for a bond, that has to be paid back, and nobody wants to do that. But finding the location first, and the bigger you can make it, the lower, dollars per acre in there, and it starts becoming more financially feasible again. There might be a grant available for municipal solar or something. Somebody should look into that. I could try, but I think if we have, first I feel like we have to find the space that people are willing. Like I thought the DPW also has lots of potential land that could have been a bigger array on the ground.
Isn't most of the BGW land just swampland though?
Is it up here? It's too high to be swampland.
Well, yeah, it's because we filled it in.
Well, then it doesn't matter anymore. So as long as it's not wetlands that we can't do something
I mean, I thought that's the reason this site was not chosen,
for a ground mount.
but no.
Oh.
That's one of the reasons this site wasn't chosen for the public safety building.
Oh.
Is because we're basically surrounded by wetlands.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that history. But,
That was one of the reasons.
yeah. So maybe an analysis of, other towns have done the sort of extensive Google Earth analysis of all the land in their town and tried to locate, like maybe our Enfield's big community array is gonna go on the other side of 89, by 89. Maybe there's something there that would be relatively, but either the owner has to want this and make some money off it, or the town has to buy it, or maybe we already own it, if the town already owns some land somewhere like that that's being used. So that's the kind of analysis that if we had somebody who wanted to, or a couple people who wanted to.
It would be interesting to find out how a lot of these other communities do it, because, I mean, I've been searching obviously YouTube for quite some time now. And there's a ton of public safety buildings, fire departments, police departments that have 200 kilowatts on their roof.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do they do that?
They're big buildings.
Well, no, but then where did the money come from?
Oh, so, yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
mainly it's a decision. I know that the one that was built up in Canada, it was $1.5 million extra.
Well, so when you get big enough, like above 200K, but big enough, and back in the day, 100K was really big.
Right.
Now it's more like 200, 300, 400K. Then you can get a power purchase agreement, which is what we're doing. That's basically what we're doing on the salt shed. And you can't find those very easily for something under 100 kW. But Revision does them all the time for
Right.
bigger projects. So if we have the space, we can go out for an RFP and get and ask for another power purchase agreement, which, the idea, Charlie, as you know, is that after 6 years or some amount of time, the town should try to buy it. And actually, maybe that should be on our list in our discussion, is how long have we had the salt shed now? Solar array? 2 years?
No, it's only, we just started last June.
Okay, so 1 year. So after 5 years or on the 6th year or something like that, it comes up for sale. Or, we could buy it as a town. And at that point, the price we buy it, we're hopeful that we would be saving exactly that amount every month in a payment, so that it wouldn't really cost the town any more money. We wouldn't have to go, we might have to go for a bond in order to buy it out, but then paying the bond comes completely from savings of electricity. So maybe if there's work that this committee has to do to make sure that happens in a few years, we should have it on our list. It is quite a bit of ways at this point, but might be worth thinking about it.
So you're saying if we get a loan, we're paying Phil now $602 a month, the base price. So if we get a loan and that comes up to $602 a month, it's not costing us anything.
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah.
actually making money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Once we own it, we make a lot more money than
Oh, yeah.
paying.
Then they'll want to go out and shovel it off, Charlie, in the winter.
Yeah, then we'll
No,
hire
no.
you to shovel it off.
No, I want to put my air system up there. We have
Yeah,
the
yeah,
part.
yeah. Then you can put your air system up there.
Yeah, air manifold.
So yeah, so that's a good point though, is we maybe want to put it on our radar that in a few years, we should make sure the town is thinking how to do this. I don't think we have to raise money for it. I think it is going to pay for itself, but we definitely want to help make sure that happens. It doesn't just fall by the wayside.
Right.
And in the meantime, if we did another one for 2023, and then they're offset a bit too, so we don't
Right.
have to think too much. But we just need, we need the land.
Yeah.
Or a very big roof surface. Very
We've got
big.
that school land that the school board owns that evidently is not buildable for anything.
Yeah, where is that? The SAU?
Yeah, it's in behind the SAU building.
Wow, we should look at that. And it's owned by the
That's called the school district.
school district. So that there runs in the problem of who owns the electricity then? It's not necessarily municipal. And yeah, so I'm not sure the town of Enfield can benefit.
That'd be a long haul only because it's Canaan and Enfield.
Yep,
And I,
and Dorchester and.
Right.
but I thought I recall a conversation where you said that, one of our select board members, Kate
Kate.
said that she wanted to put a solar
Yeah.
array up there, but I thought I heard you, Kim, say that there wasn't,
Capacity. of the-
Three phase,
Capacity.
oh, there might not be. Yeah, there might not be. I don't know for sure. This is something that in order to find out, yeah, unfortunately, you have to pay some money to Liberty to do a study to say yes or no, they will allow 200K, 500 kW.
Okay.
So it's not free, unfortunately. But maybe they'd be able to say, don't even think about it, which would be good, because then at least we know.
So if you combine that with battery storage, does that just get away from Liberty?
No. They would have to approve it all, and they would have to that would be a pilot project that they would have to want to help their grid be more stable. Sorry. Oops. I guess you left, huh?
Still, well, I walked.
Oh, you walked, okay, never mind.
Still on.
Yeah, we are.
Still going.
We're still on, but we've only got 8 more minutes, right, Joellen?
right.
Okay, so solar array. So where can we house another solar array? I think that's a good question to be thinking about each month and see if somebody can do some work on that. SAU, I'm gonna just make that note.
Anything else on that?
On the solar
Yeah, solar array.
or anything else at all?
On community solar or on solar?
No, I think we need to just keep pushing on it.
Okay, couple of other things I put down, under other. Marta's had sent the email reminding us that she suggested that we celebrate, and I think we're a little too early to celebrate community power.
Well,
We can celebrate
celebrate
the,
town meeting
The
vote.
thanks.
Yay,
That's right,
okay,
yay.
everybody lift your hands and let's sign. Okay, good.
and some of the questions she asked were, like next steps, which we had talked about earlier today. She also mentioned about, making the case for more energy efficiency, with the new building, and Kim's on that committee. And we just talked about the community solar, which she mentioned in her email also. And about volunteers, we've addressed some of that. Okay. So one of the other things I wanted to mention was that, in the paper, it says, they did the community, excuse me, the Public Utilities Commission did authorize spending $223.7 million across 7 energy efficiency programs through 2023. And there's a specific, this is in the Valley News, May 6th issue on page A2. And it says it includes 3.9 million for a municipal program to help cities and towns improve the efficiency of municipal and school buildings.
Aha. Improve the efficiency. Does that also include renewables? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Don't know.
But we need the money for the new building, so just plow it right into efficiency, the walls, plow it right into the insulation. How do we apply for that?
Well, but again, efficiency of
Of
what I
existing
think
buildings.
that is. Of
Yeah,
existing-
they'll notice
Whitney.
the fan's been coming on 5 minutes every 3 minutes in this room. It's
Well, so we do have, we had that audit that was done for the DPW building, and I know that there was work done to, try to get contractors. And everything kind of went on pause for a while because NH Saves went on pause for a while. But now that NH Saves is back up and Andrew Hatch is probably back up, I'm wondering if our DPW is starting to get back up in terms of this. Would you have any idea of that, Charlie?
Yeah, Andrew Hatch's company, who's an energy auditing company,
Right.
has started working on that because DPW wasn't able to do anything. I think the Andrews company has more pull than the town of Enfield. So he's got 2 or 3 contractors that are waiting in the wings. And I think Andrew, when I last talked to him, said that in May, the rebate should start coming up again.
What is the current scope of work now that you said the foundation is even cracked?
The town approved the re-insulating DPW, and there's, I think, like $129,000 or something that we voted on 2 years ago. That's been approved. We're just waiting for a contractor. The foundation work, I have no idea where that status is. We'll probably just wait till the corner crumbles in, and then we'll put a window or something.
So would you suggest that I contact Jim Taylor about?
No, I wouldn't even bother. I'd go right to Andrew Hatch.
Okay,
Need a number for him? Oh, yeah, let me send you some information for him. I'll call him tomorrow.
okay,
Great.
thank you
Because-
very,
Yeah, the town, I think like I told you before, it's like trying to push a rope. But Andrew realizes what's happening, and he sort of jumped over Jim Taylor, and his company is looking for contractors.
okay.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.
Oh, and the other thing, I'm glad that we're taking meetings because people do read your minutes. Our building inspector, he reads the minutes. 'Cause
Good.
He approached me on something.
I was just gonna shortcut this last one, and I thought, because didn't know what to say. So instead, I will ask you to clarify. So Charlie offered to call Andrew Hatch about
Yes.
what exactly?
About the rebates, finding contractors to re-insulate DPW. Because the money has already been approved. It's just somebody to do it. And our building inspector came up with the idea, rather than trying to put a hanging insulation from the roof that's already there, is to re-insulate the whole roof. In other words, strip the roof that's off that's there, because it's probably time for a new roof anyway, and then insulate the building at that time.
What are they gonna insulate it with, Charlie? Do you know?
I have no idea, but it would be, the standard insulation above the roof. I didn't talk any details, but that's what our building inspector suggested. And I think it's a lot better than what the contractors that have come in so far with their suggestion of hanging a net under the roof and then pumping in crap.
Pulling the roof or the siding off this building and doing stuff is probably the smartest way to do it. You see, it's just, you unscrew it.
Yeah, I think the walls are all set. It's the ceiling above the second floor is what the problem is.
Right.
Yeah, but I'll call Andrew and see what the status, because the last time I talked to him, he thought that all the funding would be available again in May, and we're in May.
We should ensure that they don't do halfway measures.
Well, the other problem is Liberty didn't really have any money. So even though the rebates have reopened, they're dependent on the utility. And so Liberty had a backlog, a huge backlog. And I think it's unlikely, unless we're in the backlog, I think it's unlikely that we're going to get new money for insulation. But Andrew's the one to help us with that. So it'd be great to check on him.
Our name was already in the hat.
Okay.
So I assume that, things were there.
Okay.
Everything is ready to go, except no one wants to do the job.
Oh, okay. Contract.
Right. And DPW, they evidently have trouble finding anybody. So that's why Andrew Hatch's company, which has more pull, is sort of taken over the whole process.
I understand. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, Joe Allen and Wendell here, and Kim. I've been wondering about this too, because as you know, Kim, I'm approaching the state on some things. And I have noticed that there is $3 billion out of a big fund that was finally approved by the government, 4 months ago. That $3 billion will come to this state. Am I right?
That sounds way too big for the little tiny state of New Hampshire.
It does, but it's been a very clear amount, and the state of Vermont, I've noticed the paper, is pulling down pieces of that. Does our town manager or somebody
Yeah.
have an inside track to talk about that money?
Yeah.
I would think that, the planning administrator, Rob Taylor, would be the appropriate person. To know about this. I found something, an announcement about federal money that was available to New Hampshire for
Right.
replacing culverts. And
Right,
I passed that on to them this week.
and I wondered if some of those weren't stimulated by town managers proposing things that we're talking about in their town. And the
Possibly.
state must have a central person monitoring where to use all that money, because it's gonna have to be, and there's more of it than been asked for in some ways, I'm told. Anyway,
Okay,
state
So-
contact, I guess the town must have somebody monitoring.
again,
Yeah, I think that Ed is all over this stuff. He's already been applying for some stuff. So yeah, he probably knows, but you can also send him an email. If you think there's something, specific, it probably doesn't hurt to send it
Well,
to,
I think the town manager must have it.
that's what I'm saying, that's Ed Morris.
Yeah, thank you, yeah, I appreciate that. I thought maybe as a committee, we might want to remind him.
Well, if we find something specific, so yeah, I think you can send, if anybody sees something, in mail or email or whatever, you can send it around to the energy committee or whatever, and we'll do it that way. That's a good idea.
I think it was the first comment you made, Joel, that there was a news article that I'll pull mine. I'll pull the one I've seen. And, okay, good.
okay.
7:03.
Anything else?
Yeah, I just want to report that our output from the solar for this month would be the maximum we've ever produced.
Woohoo! May 2022.
Yeah, the closest one to that was August, and that was 10,479 megawatts. And we're already up this month at 993 megawatts. We're 549 kilowatts short of our max.
Ooh, and so we have a week to get up to that. So
Yeah.
what's the projected max, or we can get it next month, but just what do you think it's going to be over? What's the current
Well,
max?
we will surpass what we did in August by Friday of this week.
All right.
In August, we generated 10.479 megawatts,
Nice.
and we're now we are 549 kilowatts short of that goal. And today alone, we generated 519. So if we have another day like today, and then one more day, we'll surpass what we did in August.
Nice.
And it looks like it's going to be clear.
Yeah.
Next 3 years.
There's rain coming here somewhere.
But not a lot. I don't think. Thank you, Charlie.
You're welcome.
All right, anything else?
Can we put EV charging stations on the agenda for next time around?
Yeah, and especially on the agenda for the safety building and,
Yes.
okay. I move that we call this meeting adjourned. We adjourn the meeting. I move that.
Oh,
Can I move that? Uh-oh. Well, there's time for discussion.
the discussion was meetings,
Oh, meeting etiquette, how to close them?
just in general. We know how to close them.
This time works fine for me.
Well, the
Oh.
question was, are we gonna have one in July and August?
Oh.
That was really where I was going with this.
Is it a vote or just a discussion at this point? I think we should.
Yeah. I vote yes.
I think we should, because I think we'll have.
Get it going.
Okay,
I mean, if people can't make one, if you can't make one, we have a vice chair that we didn't vote on. But, you know.
we have someone who might fill in
Yeah.
temporarily, short term.
So, yeah, you don't want
Okay.
anyone to feel like if they have a summer plan and they want to get out, they should.
Okay,
But
all right,
we can still meet in case there's little things we can make progress
all
on.
right, so that was the discussion, that's why I didn't want us to go. Okay, so the motion was to adjourn, it was second. Is there any discussion beyond,
No.
okay, unanimous consent,
Yay.
thank you.
Good meeting.
All right.
Okay, bye-bye, Wendell. I'm signing you off.
Thank you for having me in.
Okay, bye-bye.
Very much. It was fun.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay, so when you get us off?
Oh, yeah, we're gonna stop the, we're stopping your audio, whatever this is.
Yep. Okay.
See you later.